Hey everyone, before I even start referencing this article at CBC, I just want to point out I am a free market capitalist, a full-on advocate of laissez-faire free market capitalism. No top-down authoritarianism, government regulation, legislation, mandates, or edicts. I think people can figure out on their own how to deal with each other in regards to economic transactions and find ways to hold each other to account. I don't think they need authoritarian mommy or daddy and big government to tell them how to do that. I mean, most of us should learn this long before we've ever even reached adulthood. I remember when I was a young man, even people that were as young as, 9, 10, 11 years old understood the basic core tenets and fundamentals of free market capitalism. Hey, take your kids out when they're those ages and give them a paper route. Back in the day, it taught them a whole lot about economics. Matter of fact, I think the sad reality is that some of those 9, 10, 11-year-olds from 20, 30 years ago could rightfully educate full-grown adults these days in regards to what economics and market fundamentals are all about. Anyways, like I said, I am a staunch proponent of free market capitalism. Yet, people always try to suggest, well, people on the left side of the political spectrum predominantly always try to suggest that people who are advocates of free market capitalism, oh, they're heartless, evil, greedy, selfish people. And all they see is dollar signs, everything they look at, right? Everything's about an economic opportunity. Well, that's not true. I know myself, I've caused myself a lot of economic harm by trying to stick to being morally principled and ethical when I deal with people in economic transactions. Now, if I want to be immoral, I would definitely not be in the private sector. I'd want to be cozying up to big government, like SNC Lavalin, to get some legislation to give me a get out of jail free card, or to allow me to monopolize an industry such as like Bell or Rogers. Or I just avoid the middleman completely and just go straight into government. We already understand what government is. Government is a representation of monopoly of force or violence. So, hello, where you get to force or impose your economic ideas or transactions on people, right? But yet, because of big government initiatives for the last, 5 or 6 decades, now you're seeing this kind of reality unfold. And apparently, the people in the CBC think, hey, rather than feel bad for these people or think that this is kind of a terrible precedent to set, hey, I'm sure there's a business opportunity here. Headline out of CBC News, Business. Growing trend of solo living creates opportunities for businesses. For the first time in Canada, one-person households are the most common. This being reported by Rob Marowitz, Canadian Press, March 7th, 2019. So apparently, divorce, right? The division of the family, the destruction of the family, all these socialist programs, and the rejection of religion, all the things, all this anti-conservative values and principles, all this postmodernism or cultural Marxism has completely destroyed the family unit. And rather than try to figure out how should we correct things, or maybe take our hands off the wheel and let the families get back to figuring out how to do things on their own or come back together, no, the government's saying, hey, maybe we can find a business opportunity here. Sure, that means that a large percent of the population are now all living alone, probably requiring a lot of drugs, a lot of pills, maybe a lot of bottles of wine, right? Or other vices to get them through their day because of their loneliness. No, we should figure out a way to take full advantage of this economically, I guess is the pretense that they're trying to suggest in this article. Well, let's find out just exactly how they plan on doing that. One of the fastest growing demographics in Canada and around the world has long been ignored by mainstream businesses and politicians, but that may be about to change. Society is geared towards families, says Jean-Pierre Bissonnette, a 52-year-old single medical physicist at the Princess Margaret Hospital who counts himself as part of a growing cohort of people who choose to live the single life. For the first time in Canada, one-person households are the most common living arrangement according to the 2016 census. Nearly 4 million Canadians lived alone in 2016, up from 1.7 million in 1981. Wow, that's more than quite in excess, actually, of doubling. Like I say, governments create these problems. I guess they're going to try to figure out a way to take advantage of it economically while they're at it. They accounted for 28.2% of the 14.1 million households, more than couples with or without children, single-parent families, and multiple family households. The increase is driven by people marrying later, divorcing more, surviving spouses, and staying single longer. Yeah, once again, all about affecting and changing the psychology, which is what politics has done today. Like I said, this just look through history, folks. Things were done much more differently. And what has changed is the social economic culture in this country, and that has definitely come by the major institutions that affect that, which is education, politics, the media, and pop culture. I mean, this isn't even a bias. This isn't even anything that has anything to do with opinions, right? Think about it. If you want to procreate, if you want to maintain a species, procreation is quite important, which means you need more than one person living together, right? Or unless you think children should be raised in single-family households. And if you think that, well, maybe you want to look to some statistics or facts and how that turns out. Or, never mind looking to statistics or facts. Just look at the world that surrounds you. This is bad news, but according to this article, they're going to put a positive economic spin on it. Well, I guess GDP is a lot more important than keeping families together, right? Some businesses have tried to meet the changing needs by enhancing grocery options, removing travel impediments, or building more housing for one. Canada's supermarket chains have been increasing floor space for ready-made food that appeals to busy and wealthier singles, a move that both serves the market and substantially increases margins, says Sylvain Charbois, professor in food distribution and policy at Dalhousie University. I think it's only going to increase just because our demographics are supporting grocers who want to offer more single-serving solutions. An increasing number of travel companies are creating deals for solo travelers because demand has exploded, especially among women, says Tracy Nesbitt, editor of Solo Traveler magazine. Yeah. Oh, we've all recognized this. Lots of people out there in the social media atmosphere, and actually in real life, or actually, like I said, if you've got a pulse and you actually know what's going on in the world around you, yeah, a lot of single mothers out there, isn't there, folks? Is that a positive thing? Is that something we should be catering to? I don't think so. I think it's been a definite contributor, a major contributor to the destruction of the social fabric in Western societies. Some are waiving singles supplement charges, while others are allowing travelers to pair up in rooms and offering communal dining tables, happy hour receptions, and pre-voyage electronic meetups. Some cruise ships are also adding more single rooms. A cruise ship for a single... Oh, wow. Like, seriously though, folks, come on. Is this really though? Anyways, let me continue on. Airlines including Air Canada, Transat, and Sunwing have introduced solo packages that offer all-inclusive packages to Mexico and the Caribbean with no single supplement. Yeah, it's so nice to go on that nice tropical vacation all by your lonesome, right? What's that? What, like I said, why is this considered anything that we should be promoting or pivoting business models towards? I mean, I get it. I guess everybody's got to be catered to at some point in time. But once again, why do we always want to contribute on this fast-paced race to the bottom? Transat Solo Collection, for example, has almost doubled its reach since launching in 2015 to include 39 resorts at 19 sun destinations in 10 countries that welcome about 8,000 single travelers a year. Still, catering to solo travelers is a fairly recent phenomenon as more millennials and baby boomers are seeking to travel alone, says Nesbitt. That's a very important statement right there. Baby boomers and millennials, right? Well, predominantly it would probably be those millennials that were raised by those baby boomers that went into professional careers or to work for government. And you're not seeing Gen X included in this equation. Once again, well, most of the time, I think it's just because they want to pretend that Gen X doesn't exist. But at the same time, I also recognize, because I see a lot of my Gen X counterparts out there, actually, we are still with our ladies. We still, love our kids. We still have a relationship with our kids. So the family unit does seem to be still something that's cohesive for Gen Xers. But for, like I say, the boomers, especially, like I say, the boomers that went into the professional careers or to work for government, those ones that postponed having their children to much later in life or just didn't have children at all because career and working for the man, working for big government was more important than having an actual family, successive offspring, or someone to carry on your name or traditions, right? But that statement is definitely very revealing and speaks volumes. It's just become such a big market. A Statistics Canada report released Wednesday said more men, divorced, or separated people live alone today than in the past, while the proportion of widowed men and women has fallen. While many people often end up living alone because they put off having families as they establish their careers, 72% once had a partner and 55% had at least one child, said the Living Alone in Canada report. And it was all posted a link to this article in the description of the video below, but once again, folks, I mean, I get it. I mean, I guess if you're a business-oriented person, you should find some way, I guess, to cater to these people, like these singles. But I mean, really, are we trying to make this something that's normalized now? Once again, if I was doing an article such as this, I would probably try to point out the fact that it's kind of hard to propagate your species or your offspring if you're single, right? Single is not something that we should be praising or promoting today, folks. I mean, that's the thing. Why do you think they're looking to bring mass influx of immigrants, whether it's legal or illegal, to Western countries? Because nobody's having kids anymore. Because of all these single people. So rather than do the right thing and maybe get people back to being more family-oriented, which I think is much better, you know, if we learn to take care of each other rather than rely on big government, that's always much better for each and every one of us as individuals. But I mean, something is definitely going to have to be done to try to change, shift, or affect this in some way. Because you can't rely on replacing your domestic population unless you just want to have a country that's completely unrecognizable and doesn't stand on anything even remotely resembling what has been built up and apparently created and sustained these very vibrant, growing, and flourishing economies. That's the thing. These people today are relying on all the people in the past that did the right things and all that they produced. They're benefiting, they're receiving the rewards of that, and they're using that rather than to reciprocate and keep that kind of momentum going. They're choosing to pivot to a completely different model, which is to cater to, what, single people. Well, keep doing that, but you'll find out your business model at some point in time is going to be completely destroyed, because guess what happens to an entire population that doesn't procreate? Yeah, they kind of cease to exist. I shouldn't even have to explain that to people, but hey, it's 2019. It's Canadian Libertarian. I love liberty.